4 of our 5-day series on the 5 steps to actually enjoy being inside for an extended period of time with an active toddler. We have covered quite a bit so far over the last couple days. We have discussed how the foundation to not just surviving, but actually enjoying and thriving in the circumstance of being stuck inside with your toddler. We've talked about the foundation being your mindset. You need to make sure that your mindset is in a positive place because you set the tone as the parent. We then talked about the environment, that once our kind of attitude and our mindset is in the right place, we need to make sure that our environment is comfortable and a pleasant place to be in. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean that it's, a magazine level home, but it means that it's nurturing, it's enjoyable to be in, it's a safe place for our children, and it nurtures their environment and their imagination and gives them space to explore within a safe environment. Then yesterday we talked about giving yourself permission as the parent to just be, to just be, put the to-do list aside and enjoy time with your child. So that's what we've covered so far. Each day we've had a video where I've gone even more in depth on each one of those things, but that's your quick summary. Today we're on day 4. And today we're going to get a little bit more nitty gritty as far as some practical things to do. Once you have your mindset in order, once you've created your environment and formed your environment to be nurturing, and you've given yourself permission to have grace and enjoy the season with your child. Now, how do we actually manage our time and function and get the things that need to get done while still enjoying the time with our children? Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And really what it is we're going to form, I like calling it a relaxed structure that has anchors in each day and week. Okay, so what this means is you're not scheduling yourself, okay? I think we all would know, especially as moms, and especially as moms of toddlers, that schedules don't really work super great with toddlers. They have no concept of time or getting things done in a timely manner, right? They're kids. They have their own ideas of how things are going to happen. So creating a flow, a routine for your day, assuming that each day goes roughly the same, like if we're stuck home because of weather or quarantines or lockdowns or anything like that, that we kind of have an overall flow for on days when we're home and inside all day, every day. This is what it looks like. And it doesn't necessarily matter what time things happen, but creating these flows of, get the routine of getting up. Like we get up and we make our bed and then we have breakfast and we do some reading together. And then it's independent playtime for the toddler while mommy does this. Maybe mommy washes dishes or mommy has the toddler help wash the dishes. But we still within that create some anchors. So for example, I'll just give you the example of what I do. I don't have a schedule. I have a flow, but I have anchors in my day. So for example, every day at 10 a.m. is quiet time. And what that means is my toddler is put in her bed. I check her diaper. I make sure she's fed, right? She has a clean diaper. She's fed. She has some water. And I put her in her bed and it's quiet rest time. And I don't call it nap time because as your kids get older, right, sometimes they resist naps. So I call it quiet rest time. And the deal with quiet rest time is you're in there for a minimum of an hour. So from 10 to 11 a.m., she is in her bed and she can sleep or she can not sleep. She can read a book. She can play quietly with some of her stuffed animals if she wants to. But those are her options. She's in bed and she may read, she may sleep, or she may play with her stuffed animals. And that's for an hour. she needs to be in there. And so that's an anchor that she knows. And to the point where her little body clock knows when it's about 10 a.m. because she starts wanting her little stuffed animal and her lovey that she likes to sleep with. And so that's an anchor that I have. And so even though the morning might vary, like as far as timing of what time we get up, what time we have breakfast, things like that, the anchor of at 10 a.m. we do this is there. Same thing in the afternoon. I have a similar anchor around 3 p.m. Same idea of it's a quiet rest time for at least an hour. Sometimes that one can be 2 hours because usually for the afternoon one she will actually sleep. And when that's the case, I don't wake her up. We all know you do not wake up a sleeping child. I mean, right? So if she falls asleep, she's asleep till whenever she wakes up. But if she doesn't sleep, it's at least an hour that she has that independent, in her bed, quiet time. And that during that time, I can do some other things, and I have my own anchor things I like to do, whether it's getting on a call or doing some work or whatever. So building those anchors in each day is really helpful. I have a similar anchor in the afternoon of, after her afternoon nap, she gets to watch a movie. So like you have your afternoon nap or quiet rest time, and then usually actually I like to let her play a little bit, and then after about 30 minutes or so, I'll let her watch a movie. And so, but having some of these anchors that are set into a specific time helps create structure and stability. Because here's the deal. With toddlers, right, there is a level of freedom that needs to happen, freedom and flex. Your kids need some freedom and some flex to explore and develop their imaginations and who they are and what kind of people they are and how they think, and to just explore the world. And so there needs to be some of that freedom and that flexibility and freedom to make choices. I don't dictate for my daughter personally what she plays with when. She has, like I talked about on day 2 with environment, I create an environment where she has access to all of the different toys and things that I want her to be able to play with that are age appropriate and available for independent play. And I put away in a way where she can't get them the things that need to be supervised. And she has the freedom to decide what she wants to play with when. And so there's that freedom and that flexibility, but at the same time, there is also a need for order, for structure, and for stability. So when you build in anchors for each day, you don't strictly schedule every single second of every single day, because that's just a recipe for stress. But when you have anchors, your child knows, okay, here's an anchor. I know that this is coming. It's not a surprise that mom's trying to put me down for a quiet time. Like, it happens. So we can do that. So then, so you have your anchor. And then if you, then you as a mom too, like your kid has that anchor, but you as a parent also can know, okay, at 10 a.m., I'm putting my kid, for me it's 10 a.m. For you, it could be different. But at 10 a.m., my child is going to have their hour-long quiet time, and during that time, I can do this task or whatever that I'd like to do that is maybe a little bit harder to do when they're wanting to be held, right? And this applies whether you're a mom or a dad or whoever is, you're the primary caretaker of the child who's there during the day. Most of you, I'm sure, who are watching this are moms. But if you're a dad and you're watching this principle still applies of creating this flow and anchor if you're the one home with your child. And so that's a daily anchor. Another thing that's really helpful is to create weekly anchors. Because if you think about it, in kind of regular life, we tend to have weekly anchors of an appointment or a play date, or for those of us who go to church, we have church every week, or we have, a specific day that we go visit grandma or whatever. There's anchors throughout the week of things that don't happen every day, but they happen every week. And when weather prohibits, or when there's situations like currently we're still kind of dealing with this whole pandemic globally. And depending on where you live, there's still like lockdowns or quarantine issues or things like that. So Um, basically, you, um, when you have those anchors, on a regular basis throughout the week, but when we're stuck at home, we don't have the same kind of anchors. So creating weekly anchors for ourselves as well and for our children is great. So having, for example, one thing that personally I do is I have a baking day. Saturdays we bake. And whether it's muffins or cookies or banana bread or whatever, that's something that we do. And I incorporate my toddler in that because she can stir and learn how to do all those things. And so that is really fun, having that anchor. And then we attend church normally, but when we're unable to attend physically, I still, at the same time that our church service normally is, I will stream in our living room on our TV a church service. And so having those anchors throughout your week helps you kind of keep an idea of, oh, right, today's Monday or today's Tuesday, right? Because sometimes if you're home a lot, you can lose track of the day. So basically, having those anchors. So again, we don't want to strictly schedule minute by minute exactly what the day is going to look like, because that's not realistic. It's not going to happen. If you have kids at home, regardless of age, following a strict schedule just does not happen. But what we can do is we can have a general flow and a routine that has some of that wiggle room and that flexibility while having those anchors for that stability and structure. So that is and that's how you can make sure you're getting your to-do list done, right? Because a lot of times, especially when it comes to like cleaning things and doing home maintenance and stuff around the home, it can be challenging to get that done well or properly or efficiently when your toddler wants to be held or wants to be played with. And so when you have those anchors of, this is your independent time right now, and while you do this, I'm going to clean the bathroom or I'm going to wash the dishes, it helps you find that balance between enjoying, right? We talked about that yesterday. Give yourself permission to be and enjoy the moment and put the to-do list aside. Don't stress about it. But there are certain things that do have to get done. You need clean clothes to wear. So that is kind of where we find the balance of that, is creating this flow with anchors. Okay. And we can do that on a daily basis, but also on a weekly basis. And what's really fun too, especially as your toddler gets a little older, and if your toddler is older, is they become aware of that. Like, they know, you can tell them, okay, you're going to have a quiet rest time now, but as soon as you wake up, or as soon as you're done with that, we're going to do this. And so they know that's coming. Like, okay, we're going to bake cookies as soon as, when the quiet rest time's over. And that makes them a lot more prone to be willing to have their quiet rest time without having an attitude because they have something to look forward to when it's done. So they're more likely to be cooperative even. So, and again, this is, I often am addressing moms specifically because, let's be honest, most of the time we're the ones who are home with the kids, but especially right now in this season, I know that there's some dads as well. So really this is for parents or whoever is the primary caregiver for the child, whether it's a grandparent or whoever is finding that they are inside for extended periods of time with a toddler and are starting to pull their hair out a little bit, because it can be a little crazy if you are inside with no outlet with an energetic toddler. So that's what I have for you guys today. So if you haven't watched the previous days, I really encourage you to go back and watch those. Again, day 1, we talked about mindset and attitude and how you as the adult set the tone of the environment. Then on day 2, we talked about creating a physical environment and a physical space that is conducive to being nurturing and pleasant to be in, and it's comfortable for you as the adult and the child, and just creating a space that the child has that freedom to play in, and ideally trying to kind of keep things open so that they can get some wiggles out when they're stuck inside. And then yesterday we talked about giving yourself permission to just be and to enjoy doing things with your child. And today we talked about creating a flow and building in anchors to that. So having a general routine that we kind of operate in a flow for how we do things every day with kind of set anchors for certain time periods. Tomorrow, we're going to wrap up our series and with one of my favorite tips. I do want to let you know, I told you guys, I think on Monday, that this is cumulative and they build on themselves. So each of the steps that I've shared with you, it really builds on itself. Like if you don't have that mindset that I talked about on day one covered, if you haven't done that work and chosen to have a positive attitude, nothing else is going to really work. Okay? Like the attitude is the foundation. Similarly, if you have an environment in your home that is unsafe or uncomfortable for a toddler to be in, you're gonna find yourself going crazy because every 5 seconds you're going to be telling your toddler, no, you can't touch that. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do this. And you're constantly having to run around and try to like cage them because they're doing things they shouldn't because there's nothing for them to do that they can do. And then if you don't give yourself permission to just enjoy and relax and have that grace, then you are going to have a lot of stress, honestly. So that's why each one of these things is foundational in this order. Because until you've done the first 3 things, what I shared with you today as far as creating a flow with the anchors and having some level of structure in your time management, it's not going to work well. You're still going to find yourself stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated and just barely surviving in being at home with your toddler if you haven't done the mindset work and the setting the stage of the environment. Okay, that's really, really important. I just really need to highlight that for you guys because it's not like you can pick and choose these steps. These steps go together, okay? So that's all I have for you today. I hope this was a blessing to you. And if you are looking for ideas of activities to have available for your toddler and things that you can have them do independently, as well as ideas of what you can do with them involved as the parent or adult who is supervising, I have a free PDF download for you. It's a list of over 24 activities on 2 sheets. You've got a sheet of independent activities and a sheet of supervised activities that you can download for free. The link is in the description of the video, so please feel free to grab that. And if there are any things that you like doing with your toddler indoors that is not on that list, please share, because let's be honest, if we're a parent of toddlers, you are always on the lookout for things to do to keep them entertained. All right? So have a wonderful day, my friends, and I will see you all tomorrow with our 5th and final step in not only surviving, but actually enjoying being inside for an extended period of time with our toddlers. Have a fantastic day, my friends.